Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. By now I hope you know that in these leadership training videos what I do is I share from my own personal experience some of the key elements that I believe are important for you to consider as you grow in your leadership, in your skills, in your abilities, help you understand and identify what might be some of the leadership traits that you need. What is it that you need in order to become a more effective leader? What are the skills that you need to acquire? Some of which maybe you have already, but others you want to grow with. My name is Chris Igwe. I have over 35 years experience leading, training and developing teams across Europe, Middle East and Africa, and primarily in the 5 countries where I have lived and worked and helped these teams to become more than they ever imagined possible. So it's my own personal experience, but at the same time, they are aspects of leadership that you will see time and time again if you observe other people, if you look at those who you idolize, those who you refer to, maybe in your own company as well, you may be seeing different things. So this is not just about leaders in general, it's about what you're seeing and what you want to achieve. So I hope that you feel free to like, comment and share, and of course subscribe to the channel so you know when other videos are becoming available. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I think this is a topic which is sometimes very much forgotten, but I want to put it very bluntly to you, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. People leave. Now you may say, well, what has that got to do with leadership? Well, a lot to do with leadership, because I've confronted it in many different ways, and I've had other people as well who have explained to me how they've been treated in their own companies or by other people. And so it's a really valuable thing to learn and understand. But firstly, to accept it, that as a leader, you have a team, a company, you're an entrepreneur. So maybe you say, I'm not a leader. It doesn't matter. The fact is you will have people underneath you who work for you or with you, as the case may be. So people leave. Once you embrace that and you don't fight it, you then ask yourself 2 questions. The first is, of course, why do people leave? Why do people leave? And maybe the first one is because they're ready to leave. Remember that as a leader, it is your job to create and grow future leaders. That is one of the primary objectives of leadership, to grow other people. And like anything, when a bird is ready to fly, it flees. When your children grow up and it's time for them to leave home, that is what you are required to do. So it may just be that they're ready and it's time to leave, it's time to move on. It could also be, and this is an important one, the flip side, it's because of you. And I don't mean that in a positive sense. It means that when you've created an environment within which people are supposed to grow, develop, acquire new skills, abilities, become whatever they want to become, but you don't let them. They leave because of you, because you've created something that they cannot or no longer can adhere to. Maybe it's your way of approaching things, maybe it's your leadership style, maybe it's the fact that you're using techniques that are not in line with what they are looking for. So people leave, and so that could be because of you, and that's a negative part. We'll touch on that another time. So when you've learned and understand and accept that people leave, what is your reaction? How do you behave? What is your attitude? So is it that you're happy for them? You're pleased that they're leaving? Could it be either of those? Could it be that you're more understanding? You understand why they leave? Or could it be you're disappointed? And I put it to you that a lot of people, as leaders and in leadership roles, are disappointed. Or it could be even further than that. Could be that they are sad and maybe even to the point of being angry. Imagine the emotion. You've trained someone, you've developed them, you've helped them grow, perhaps over years, maybe even decades, and then they decide to leave. That could make you really angry. You could say, well, I've done so much for this individual. I've put so much into what I've shared with them. How come they're leaving? Why are they leaving? So some or all of these emotions may come to you. Now, I can say that before I learnt to embrace the fact that it is a role of the leader to create and develop new leaders and then send them out, let them go. So I didn't get straight to that point, but I was never sad or angry necessarily, not at all. But I was disappointed. I did have that feeling of, after all this time we've spent together, after all that I've helped you develop and understand and grow and learn, and you still leave me. And then I got to a point of, okay, I'm happy for them. I'm pleased. And I'll tell you how I got there. And this is one of the key things. I got there by what I just call simply, what's the best approach as a question. And I said to myself, how would I want to be treated? How would I want to be treated if I went to my boss and said, I'm sorry, but I'm leaving, or I've got a better job or a great job, or I've just got to move on. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I have to go. How would I want to be treated? How would you want to be treated? And then the other question is, what memory do I want to leave that person? So this is me as the boss and somebody's leaving. And asking myself, what memory would I want that person to have of me as their boss at the time when they came and said to me, I'm leaving, I'm moving on. Or they wrote a letter, it doesn't matter the form. Although form is really important as well. If I get an email telling me that someone is leaving, I would be more than disappointed. I'd rather feel that I've created an environment in which that person can come and talk to me. So 2 key questions. How would I want to be treated if it's me? And that'll give you a very clear image and you'll understand. And then what is the memory that I want that person to have of me as the boss accepting their departure? At the end of the day, the key thing is this. For you, for me, for us to be understanding. We all come from different places in our careers and our lives. We all have objectives and plans and ideas. We want our bosses, our leaders, to help us get to where we want to. And so when that opportunity of a lifetime comes along, or maybe somebody just makes a mistake, that can happen, and they want to move on for more money. And that's also valuable and valid in today's world, where finances are an issue and family life is a challenge and costs going up, cost of living and everything else. Now, I would like to think that before the person made that decision to leave just on the basis of money, everything else that I've done has given him or her the knowledge, the insight and the belief that this is a better place to be than somewhere else. But assuming that's not the case, and assuming that they have indeed got something better, then the question is, how am I going to help them comfortably move on to the next stage? And as a leader, that is so, so important. Because I've had examples, and that's why I can talk about it. Before I learned to accept and embrace it and help people on their way, those people have become incredible successes in what they've been doing. And I take pride in the fact that they've passed through my business, my company, my team to get to where they are. And so I'm incredibly grateful that I have been able to somehow encourage them and be there for them in that journey. Isn't that what we all want? Isn't that the stage where you say, I have given it my very best? So wrapping this up, people will leave. That's just the nature of it. I know that I've left different companies at different stages. I've moved on to something else. Were all my bosses happy? Not necessarily. Did they accept it? Yes, reluctantly in some cases. But for me, the greatest, most memorable moment was when I left a particular company. I was on the board and other board members had left over time. And I was, I think, the 4th to leave that particular company. And the CEO, when I told him I was leaving, he said, just so you're clear, I had at that stage 1 month's notice, so that was fine. He said, just so you know, there's going to be no goodbyes, no nothing. We're just going to let you go. That was fine for me. He wasn't happy, but he accepted it because he felt I was a key part of the business. But the best part about it he actually threw a party for me at his home. Surprised me. I was not in any way expecting it, but he threw a party, invited the other board members and various senior executives in the company. And it was a most amazing and fantastic moment. They did stunts and pulled stunts on me and made jokes and everything else, which were a little amusing, entertaining. It was fun. I didn't expect it. But my point here is he was upset, disappointed, didn't want to do anything but just say goodbye on the day. And yet he went the extra mile, the distance to say, well, Chris has actually been a good element here, so let's do something for him. And I appreciated that. And that was a really good lesson for me as well. So beyond all the things that I've said here is the fact that he, in his own way, because it wasn't something he'd done, as I said, for the other board members. I was the only one, to my knowledge, at least up until I left, for whom he had done that. So I was particularly grateful. So how can you encourage, support, nurture whoever it is that is leaving, and remind them that your door is always open. They can always come back, and you'll find that not only will you be liberated, but they will be as well, and they will appreciate you because you provided understanding at a time that was difficult for them, because it's never easy to say, I'm moving on. So I hope this has given you some thoughts. I hope inspired you as well to reevaluate when people come to you and say, I'm leaving, even if they're not people who you necessarily wanted to keep, but more importantly, people who you do want to keep. Please feel free to like, comment and share and subscribe to this channel for other videos when they become available. And until the next time, thank you.